called Is That McNuts? So I'll say something and you tell me if that something is McNuts. Okay?
All right, here we go.
All right, if I were to say no one's legacy would be more impacted by winning a championship this year than that of Kevin Durant, would that be McNuts?
I would say that is McNuts, Greeny, as in crazy. First of all, for the record, Kevin Durant already has not one, but 2 titles. I think there are other players whose legacies stand to be impacted in a bigger way with the opportunity to win a title this season. I'm looking at you, Joel Embiid and James Harden in Philly. I'm looking at you, Nikola Jokic in Denver. I'm even going to toss in Memphis in that one. And so I think Kevin Durant will go down as one of the greatest in our game, and he already has 2 rings to prove it.
Okay, fair enough. I actually agree with that one. Next, if the Celtics don't make the finals, Jalen Brown will be out of Boston. Is that McNuts?
This is not McNuts, Greeny. I think as much as the line from the camp in Boston has been, any team would love to have 2 stars. We're fortunate to do that. That was true to a point. And I think we are reaching a point in both of these young men's career where it's just not quite working. If the results are not there, then what are we doing? The rest of the league is salivating at the opportunity to go and get a Jalen Brown.
All right, I want to talk about that one a little later. In the meantime, if someone said this is Steph Curry's last chance or best chance to get one more ring, would that be McNuts?
I would say that's McNuts, and you got too much dip on your chip there, young fella. This is a young man who's only getting better. Literally, statistically, you guys, the only number that has gone down is the amount of games played. Steph is shooting the ball well from both 3 and from the field. He's also not yet 38. You know that guy LeBron James at 38 that's still doing it at a high level?
Yeah.
Steph is built like that.
I have too much dip on my chip.
Dip on your chip there, Greeny.
That's the first time anyone's ever said that to me. Anyway, Steph, though, he feels good about their chances, and his teammate Klay Thompson feels great. Listen to Klay the other day when he was talking about what he thinks Golden State is about to do.
We have to value the ball more, take great shots, and communicate on defense. We do those 3 things. I don't see a team who can beat us in a 7-game series when we're healthy.
You know, in some ways, this season was a reminder of just how long an NBA season is. It feels like a different lifetime ago that this team won the championship, and there have been so many ups and downs. But here they are. They find themselves in a nice little sweet spot at 6. They play Sacramento. There's 87 miles away. They don't get on a plane in the first round. All the rest of that. Do the Warriors feel right now like they could be the team to beat in the West?
Yes, and they should, without question. This is the team that has the most experience. They have the opportunity to run it back with a team that didn't change a ton. It did change some, but you got 2 pieces that were missing for a large chunk of this season, and that would be Andrew Wiggins and Gary Payton. So that brings back some of that defensive prowess that has been missing. My concern, though, is 2 things, and Klay pointed it out. They've got to stay healthy over the course of this run, and then 2, while he laid out the formula for the things that they need to do as far as basketball is concerned, they also have to stay focused, because the difference in this team on the road versus at home is clearly purely focused. And again, I'll have to defer to Draymond and company. They understand that the regular season is a completely different animal than the postseason, but I just question, beyond the 3 of those guys, does the rest of that team truly grasp?
Assuming they win this first round series, and I don't want to disrespect Sacramento, they've had a wonderful year. They're the 3 seed, they deserve it. But if Golden State were to get out of this, they will not have been on a plane in like 3 weeks by the time they go on to their next round. And that would be, if the seeds go the way we expect, either against a Memphis team that they've generally had their number, Golden State has had their number, or the Lakers. And you want to talk about a match made in television heaven. The Lakers against the Warriors in round 2. Look, I don't want to root for anything, but I'm rooting for that. But it really has set up nicely for Golden State is what I'm trying to say.
It has, but I think we could look at this thing and argue about how it has set up relatively nicely for at least 5 teams, I would say, right? Like, even if you want to go into the conversation with Denver, well, they're the 1 seed. Arguably, they have the easiest path. Are they as legit as they've been in the regular season? The thing with Golden State, the travel is a big deal. The experience is a big deal. If Memphis was healthy, I don't know what that looks like. But the way that the Lakers have been playing ball in the last 2 months, that, I agree with you, could be one of the most tantalizing series potentially. Not 100% sure that we're going to get it. But again, what is the key thing that is going to separate teams that have refused to separate themselves over the course of the regular season? And at this point today, it feels like experience is the only thing that you can lean on.
Yeah, so the teams, what you're saying is what I've been trying to make up my own mind if I believe, which is that the top 3 teams in the West, I've never said this aloud in the 30 years I've been doing this. The top 3 teams in the West are Denver, Memphis, and Sacramento. I think I like all the rest of them better, right? I think I like Phoenix, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers. I like 4 through 7 better than I like 1 through 3. Is that ridiculous?
I don't think it's ridiculous, Greeny, but we could also make the argument that the top 3 teams are essentially playing with house money, and therefore there is not pressure. Because when I look at the back half, I don't think that Phoenix is necessarily under pressure because they can say that Kevin Durant was a late add. We're going to get a season to gel together. I think Golden State is feeling a little bit of pressure because of who they are and how badly they've played, coming off of a year in which they won a national or won a NBA title. I think the Clippers are starting to feel pressure because what was this experience about if y'all can't get it together eventually? Yeah. And there's certainly pressure for the Lakers, in particular on Anthony Davis, who I think has to be the key if they're going to make a run.
The fun starts tonight. And again, the Lakers, not the Timberwolves and Lakers. And the T-Wolves will be without their center, Rudy Gobert, as they play tonight. Gobert suspended for the game after punching a teammate during Sunday's season finale. Tonight's winner will be the 7th seed in the Western Conference. How significant is this absence? Well, the line at Caesars Sportsbook opened at -5.5 Lakers. It was around -6 when the news broke that Gobert would be suspended. That has now jumped to -8. So this is a big deal. So is this. Kendrick Perkins on First Take yesterday talking highly of the Lakers' playoff hopes.
The Lakers are going to the NBA Finals. When you look at the Western Conference and you look at if they potentially match up with the Memphis Grizzlies, they're going to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. They could beat any team in the West, including the Memphis Grizzlies and the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. So when I look at them and what they've been doing over the last 2 months, I had them going to the NBA Finals.
That is a big statement from Big Perk. Do you, McNutt, we do a feature here now called Is That McNuts? I'll ask you, is that McNuts out of Kendrick Perkins?
It is not McNuts, Greeny, but here's the deal. I am proud of Perk for his conviction about the Lakers, but you can make the case for legitimately 7 teams in the West having a path to potentially do that. Now, what I will say is in the last 2 months, per what Perk is pointing out, when you look at that 15-7 run, they've been tremendous. And so of all the teams, in terms of how they've built momentum going into the playoffs, the Lakers do probably look the best. They've had continuity. They've been able to get their guys back, and they're playing great ball. Anthony Davis, in particular, is looking fantastic.
Well, per what Perk was pointing out, which is a tough sentence to go for, but I'm proud of you for trying. I think tonight is critical. I will make the argument that tonight is critical. A, for the additional rest that they get, because if you win tonight, you don't have to play till the weekend. If you lose tonight, you got to come back and play for your season on Friday night. Plus, it puts you in the 7 spot in the draw instead of 8, which means Memphis instead of Denver. I think tonight is a very big night for LeBron's Lakers.
I agree with you. And again, for me, as much as we are going to say LeBron's Lakers, and rightfully so, Anthony Davis is the key to me.
Yeah.
This entire playoff run, when you look at that 15-7 run since the All-Star break, he's been on the floor for 22 or 2. He's only missed 2 of those 22 games, or 23 games, excuse me. And so his productivity, he's back to shooting 57% from the field, which is similar to what we saw from him in the bubble when the Lakers went on to win a championship. I don't want to mess my numbers up, so let me make sure I get it right. 26 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks per game on that 57% from the field. AD, to me, is the key on both sides of the basketball. LeBron is going to be who he has proven to be over his decades-long career. And those guys that they've got around them, if they defend and knock down shots, I mean,
you make a great point. Look, I'm old enough to remember when AD was going to be the guy who was going to let LeBron sort of slide into the number 2 role. He's finally playing that way, isn't he?
I would agree. And so I think, again, don't overlook that he's been on the floor. He's only missed 2 of the 23 games. Like, we all know AD's availability is the first key in step 1. And Darvin Ham has said over the season, when I've had the opportunity to be on the sidelines for a Lakers game, when AD is feeling good and he's quick off the ground, when he is on the floor, he is a force to be reckoned with.
It couldn't have set itself up better for the Lakers again. With no Gobert tonight, we'll have much more on these play-ins in the upcoming NBA playoffs. But keep that in mind as you get set to watch tonight. Feels like a very important night for LeBron and the